Okay, so we are into the sixth lecture of this unit number one, and we are on to the intelligent agent. So just for a revision, actually, what we have seen in intelligent agent, we'll just revise. It's nothing but a computer system with an autonomous action in some environment. Intelligent agent is simply also called as an agent, and it is a program that gathers the information or performs some other services without your intermediate presence. That means what? It will gather the information from the environment, then it will process it, and then the action will be conducted through actuators. So normally what will happen is that it will have the components like software or hardware that it perceives, and it acts autonomously in an open and dynamic environment, learning and cooperative with the other agents. That is nothing but to offer the benefit to the user. So whatever we are doing is using for the benefit of the user. So this is an intelligent agent. So normally we have also human agents, humans, then we have a software agents, as well as we have robotic agents. Then an agent is also called as in a short form as a bot, or it is nothing but short form of a robot. Then agents may be reactive, deliberative, or hybrid. Those are the types of agents. Then an agent is anything that can be viewed as a perceiving its environment through sensors and acting upon the environment through actuators. So what actually are we doing here is that this it will perceive the information from the environment as an input. It will go to the agent where the sensors will be sensing the things from the environment. That means it is perceiving, and then the agent will do an action on this environment with the help of actuators. So an agent is nothing but that can be viewed as perceiving its environment through sensors and then acting upon the environment through actuators. So if you see that there are three types of agents mostly. So one is a human agent, one is the robotic agent, and the second one is a software agent. So human agents will be having the eyes, ears, and other organs for sensing purpose, whereas the hands, legs, vocal tracts, and so others for the actuators purpose. Whereas in case of robotic agent, you will be having the cameras and infrared range finders for sensors and various motors that will be acting as an actuators. So they will be having some similar kind of pattern like what the intelligent agent or human agent is about. A software agent will be having some files, keystrokes, and network packets as sensory inputs, whereas displaying it on the screen, writing files, and sending the network packets are nothing but the actuators. So the job of AI is to design an agent program. So where actually where the role of AI will come into the picture is to design the agent program that will implement the agent function. That is nothing but mapping between the percepts to actions. Right now, where the AI will do this program, that is the most important thing. So it will be having some architecture. So agent is nothing but the combination of architecture and the agent program. So overall architecture and the agent program together will make it as an intelligent agent. So these are the types of intelligent agent we have seen. So you can see that a simple reflexive or reactive type of intelligent agent is there. Then we have some kind of progress. Then it goes to the model based. Then again some improvement was done. Then goal based intelligent agent were designed, then utility based, and then the recent one, which is mostly, if you see that the Sophia robot, which is an the advanced robot, they are the learning agents, they are the learning intelligent robots. They learn through the experiences, they learn through their mistakes, and now they are very perfect, like an they are trying to imitate the or mimic like in human behavior. So this is what about the progress from a simple reflexive type of intelligent agent to a learning agent. So we were in the first reactive agent. We started discussing about a reactive agent. So you can see the block diagram. So the block diagram which we have already seen, the environment is there. There is a perception, then the sensor is taking an input, then agent is there. And then from agent through actuators, the action will be initiated. So similar kind of block diagram structure which will be having in reactive agent. So you can see that this is a reactive agent. This is the block. This is the environment through which the input will be censored. It will perceived through the sensors. then it will be having a state of world where all the information that is been related with the world, how the perception is being carried out, that will be given to the state of world. And then these two blocks are nothing but the action decision, where rules are taken, where rules are given about for the decision making, and for action purpose it will be given to the actuator, which will do actions on the environment. So this is how the reactive agent works out to be. The reactive agents are nothing but the software agents that carry out simple task of retrieving preset behaviors similar to the reflexes. Reactive agents do not maintain the internal state, unlike deliberative agents. So it does not have any kind of internal state. So if anybody asks what is the difference between deliberative and reactive agent, so there is no internal state in reactive agent, whereas there is internal state in case of deliberative agent, which will be the next type of agent which we are going to see. It can simply be said that an agent that has no internal state is called as reactive agent. So it in very simple state, if in a very simple explanation, no internal state means it's a reactive agent. Reactive agents consumes fewer system resources, which is why they cannot generate results as good as deliberative agents. So obviously, if you could see the resources that are been available here, that is the perception, state of world, rule, and action, decision for the action making, and the actuators. So right from sensors to actuators, it has very less resources. So you will not be getting those kind of results which we get from the deliberative agents. So that is the somewhat a disadvantage of reactive agent as far as the deliberative agent is concerned. It is entirely possible to use a few reactive agents in place of deliberative agent in many cases. So there is also one more case, like why not to go for multiple reactive agents instead of selecting one deliberative agent in many cases. So you can see that you can use a number of reactive agents in place of one deliberative agent. Reactive agents have their limitations, though they just cannot reach automatically on the basis of information from the external environment. So there is also a limitation of reactive agent, as they are very simple, they are very normal, and they cannot automatically react to the information coming from the external environment. So it has to be processed. Whatever the input is that has been to be taken from the environment through the senses, they cannot react to that information directly. They have to work on it and then they react. So this is what the limitations of reactive agents is about. Reactive agents must have enough data available in the local or internal environment to figure out satisfactory action. Obviously, whatever the input that has been taken through the by mean of sensors, that is the perception that has been carried out by collecting the information by mean of sensors, that should be enough. If it is a very low information is present with you, then it becomes very difficult for the reactive agent to take any kind of action, or I could say a satisfactory action on that data. So you need to have a very good data in order to have this reactive agents. It's similar to what the human agent looks like. If you are not having enough information with you, normally what will happen, you will not satisfactorily give the answer. Like if there is a question, if a question is asked to you, and that if you're not having information enough of data regarding that question to answer, what will happen, you will not be able to satisfy the question, or you'll not be able to give a proper answer to that question. So similar is exactly of the reactive agent. So you should have a proper exact information in order to respond. In a decision making process, it is difficult for reactive agents to take into account the external and non local information. So, now, as far as the whole overall decision making is concerned, it becomes difficult for the reactive agents to take into account the external or non local information. So, obviously, it is going to be acting upon only the local information that is gathering around the environment by mean of senses. So, if if the reactive agents wants to take a decision, and that decision is to be made, then it cannot take into account the external and non-local information. So it will take the information that it will have plus the non-local information, plus the local information that it will have. So जो information gather किया हुआ है वही information को लेकर वो उसी के हिसाब से decision ले सकता है. Reactive agents do not understand the relationship between environmental and the individual behavior. So whatever input that is been coming from the environmental will be processed. It does not actually take into grant or take into consideration about finding out the relationships between environment and the behavior. What is actually happening? So whether the environment is changing the behavior, whether there is change in the environment, all these relationships in order to change in environment with the individual behavior is normally not understood by the reactive agent. So it's a very simple agent. It does not consider these kinds of relationships. These agents cannot understand the overall behavior either. So it is also not able to understand the overall behavior. To create such reactive agents that can be understood these behaviors is challenging task. So obviously, in order to create such kind of reactive agent, we need to understand the behaviors, and that is the most challenging task. So in case of reactive agent, you'll be finding that they does not go into the understanding the overall behavior. And if to understand that, then it becomes a very challenging task. Moreover, the methodology to create such agents does not exist. यानी कि जो methodology है ऐसे agents को बनाने की, it does not exist. They sense and act through various means. That's it. So there is no such kind of methodology where you're going to prepare in this way. There is no such kind of thing. Reactive agents actually it senses and takes an action accordingly. That is only about the reactive agent. More complex reactive agents can remember properties, can also store internal models. So if you want to little bit get into the advancement of more little bit complex reactive agents, then these agents can only remember some of the properties as well as it can store some kind of internal models. That's it, it can be achieved. Otherwise, it is very quite a limited reactive agent. The actions are taken based on the stored internal models and the properties that are remembered by these reactive agents. So if you want to go with a complex reactive agents, then it will be then it will take the help of the internal models that are stored. Internal models का मतलब कैसे कि कुछ तो चीज है जो जैसे काम करती है उस तरह का मॉडल एक बनाकर अंदर रख देना है ना. Suppose if you want to do this kind of action, then there is a need of some kind of model that will give you this kind of input and the model will give you that kind of output. So such kind of models can be actually put into the reactive agent, and based on the properties that it has remembered as well as the internal models, it could take somehow a little bit of higher decisions. That is only the thing that reactive agents can do. Otherwise it requires your quite an proper information or data to take any kind of satisfactory action. That is what the reactive agent is about. If you take into account the autonomous robots, the information maintenance is studied through reactive agent and non-communicating and homogeneous. So the maintenance is also studied, because what will happen, uh, it becomes uh, it becomes very much necessary if there is some issue. For that thing I should know an automatic take into consideration about the autonomous robots who does its all the kinds of work by itself. So as far as maintenance is concerned, then the maintenance can be also studied through these reactive agents. So where actually the problem is coming, that is about that are non-communicating and homogeneous. So these kinds of maintenance formation can be also studied with the help of reactive agents. The primary goal of autonomous robot is to move in a particular formation. But when these robot moves, they face obstacle at some point along the way. obviously there are some obstacles. So you might have studied, you might have attended some of the robotic competitions where there will be some obstacles and then you have to cross those obstacles, changing path robots and all those things. So similarly, in case of the robots which are having the reactive agents, they at some point of time when they will move, they will face these kind of obstacles. So this results in distraction of one or more robots from the straight line. So if they are going into the straight line, obviously as soon as the obstacle comes, they get distracted. So once these robots pass through the obstacle, they must regain the straight path. So again, if there are obstacles and if they go through these obstacles, then it should again regain its original path. है ना? That was following before, and hence the reactive agent comes into action to complete this task. So this is the best example of reactive agents. एक सीधी सी बात है, एक रोबोट है, रोबोट के अंदर एक एजेंट है, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज रिएक्टिव एजेंट. ये रिएक्टिव एजेंट कैसा है? ये रिएक्टिव एजेंट ऐसा है जो एनवायरनमेंट से सब इंफॉर्मेशन लेता है, बेस्ड ऑन द डिसीजंस, द एक्शंस लेता है विद द हेल्प ऑफ एक्चुएटर्स. Now what is happening? This intelligent agent is nothing but it is in that robot which is having this intelligent agent. This robot is been given a straight path. It is going to move on the straight path. But sometimes suddenly if it faces the obstacle, then most of the time what will happen, it will get distracted from the straight line. Now what happens, even if it is able to pass those obstacle, after that it should be able to regain the straight path that it was following before. So the reactive agents, who will then help you to regain its path? So who will help you to regain its path? Obviously the reactive agent. So the best example of the reactive agent is to regain the path even after facing the obstacles. So there the reactive agent will come into the action, because it will sense from the environment then the obstacle is coming. Then if it crosses that obstacle, then it should be able to regain its path. And that's what the thing is about. That's what the plus point of reactive agent is about. The data from the sensors is converted into the motion vectors, and then this helps to avoid the obstacles. So how does it do it? That is the most important. So whatever the data that it's collect from the sensors, it will be converted into the motion vectors. So this will help you to avoid that obstacles. Reactive agents also take into account the position of other robots and they follow the same pattern to reach the original destination. So obviously the reactive agents uh, also take into account the position of other robots also, because what will happen if there are a number of robots that has been going on, it has to take care that there are other robots also, and they also follow the same pattern in order to reach the original destination. Thus the movement of these robots in this fashion is a collective response of these motion vectors. So what actually is nothing but the movement of these robots is, जो भी movement हो रहा है robots का, वो collective action है उस motion vectors का, और यही मोशन वेक्टर्स उनको ऑब्स्टेकल्स को अवॉइड करने के लिए काम में आते हैं, और बाद में रिएक्टिव एजेंट्स बराबर उनको उनको उस रोबोट्स को वापस से उस ओरिजिनल पाथ पर लेकर आता है. सो दिस इज द बेस्ट एग्जांपल ऑफ द रिएक्टिव एजेंट. Okay, so once again, reactive agent, simple, environment, sensors. Reactive agent will be having the sensors collecting the information from the environment, that is it percepts, given to state of world, then action decision, that is nothing but rule based action decision, and then the action is converted into the environment through the actuators. Okay, then the second most important is that reactive agents most important task is to sense and act through various means. Then more complex reactive agents may have some properties to remember, and can also store some internal models. So based on the internal models and properties that are remembered, the reactive agents can take actions. This is the simple. I'm just summarizing you what the things is. And the best example of the reactive agent is to regain the straight path after obstacles. Okay, that is what the thing is about. So how you are going to do this, how the reactive agent does, it actually converts the data from the sensors, which is into a motion vectors. And the robot, the movement of the robot is nothing but the collection of these motion vectors. So this is about the reactive agent. Now we little bit move to the another type of agent called as a deliberative agent. Now, as I said that there is a difference between a reactive and deliberative agent, but instead of having one deliberative agent, you can have number of reactive agents. Reactive agent is a simple reflex kind of a model. Now you can see a difference between reactive and deliberative on your screen. So if you could look at the difference, you can see that there is an environment on the reactive side. If I'm explaining you the reactive agent on the left side of your screen, which is nothing but it is collected, the sensors collect the from the information from the environment, then it will process, obviously. So for processing it, that is for decision making. With the help of rules, it will have a control, and then it will be having the action with the help of actuators. That's what the reactive agent is about. Now what is the difference between the reactive agent and deliberative agent? Now as far as the deliberative agent is concerned, you have sensors processing control exactly the same way like reactive agents, but the processing way where decisions are actually made in case of reactive agents, because it's have a domain knowledge. So for the domain knowledge, it's having a world of state. So in case of processing, it will be having not only domain knowledge, but it will have internal states, evolution, as well as the prediction capability of the processing. And then it will have a goal based control system, just not rule based control system. Because a rule based system is like, if you want to follow this, so this is rule number one, this is rule number two. After following rule number one, you should follow rule number two, in this way. But as far as goal is concerned, you take your own decisions in order to reach there, to reach the goal. Now suppose there is a robotic competition and your robot is set to reach to the destination, so it will take its own path to reach that destination, because that's a goal that has been assigned to it. In case of rule, it's something different. So that is what the advantage of the deliberative agent over reactive agent is. So it is having processing with domain knowledge, but it will have processing with internal state, evolution, prediction. It will have rules and it will have goals. The rest of the things is same. Both of them will be having sensors, processors, and control systems. That is nothing but actuators and sensors. In between, there will be processing. I feel that you are understanding the things. They are very simple, no problem, no complications are there. Up till now, you might have understood what we are learning about. We are into the intelligent agents, right? There are different types of intelligent agents. That is robotic agents. We have human agents. Then you have the software agents. So different kinds of agents. And in these agents, we can use these types of agents like reactive agents. And we are moving towards a deliberative agent. Deliberative agent is again a software agent that contains a symbolic world and makes decision via symbolic reasoning. So now this processing is having internal state, evolution, and predictions. So this deliberative agent is again a software agent like a reactive agent, but the whole decision making, it is based on the symbolic reasoning. As far as symbolic reasoning is concerned, I have already explained you what symbolic reasoning is about. We have already seen what is symbolic reasoning. Okay, so based on symbolic reasoning, the decisions will be made. So it is completely based on symbol for reasoning. Okay, symbols are used for reasoning purpose, to solve the reasoning problems. A deliberative aging has two types of attitudes. One is an informative, which involves information about the environment, and pro attitude, which guides the action of the agents. So here, as everything is a goal based, it is having two types of attitudes. This was not in reactive agents. This is in this is new in as far as deliberative agent is concerned. So it is having two types of attitude. One is an informative attitude. Information यानी कि क्या, सेंसर से कलेक्ट करना, तो वो एटीट्यूड एक है कि इंफॉर्मेशन, प्रॉपर इंफॉर्मेशन कलेक्ट करो सेंसस से, है ना. और दूसरा है प्रो एटीट्यूड. प्रो एटीट्यूड यानी कि जो कलेक्ट किया हुआ है उस पर क्या एक्शन लेना है. सो इट विल हेल्प यू टू गाइड, which guides the actions of an agent, so which will help the agent to take an actions. So this is about the deliberative agent. So attitude, informative and pro attitude, है ना. Attitudes, information and pro attitudes. Information, that is involved the information about the environment, and pro attitude guide the actions of the agent. A deliberative agent maintains its internal state and predicts the effects of the actions. This is very good difference, as there is no such kind of prediction happening in reactive agent. But here, because of the internal state, it can predict the effect of the action. Right? What the action is going to happen, if it is able to predict it before, then it becomes quite easier to understand how my deliberative agent is going to work out. And why this is happening? Because of the internal state, right? It is having this prediction, it is having this evolution, which was just an domain knowledge as far as the reactive agent was concerned. But in case of processing, in case of deliberative agents, we have these internal states which will be helpful in order to predict the effects of the actions. That is very important line, very important point. Deliberative agents acts more likely like thinking agent and search through a space of behavior while maintaining the internal state. So it is like a thinking agent, right? Thinking agent, it is keep on thinking, like it will understand the space of behaviors as well as it will maintain its internal state. So it keeps on thinking in order to, it also helps you to predict the decisions. So deliberative agent acts like more like a thinking agent. Unlike reactive agents, deliberative agents cannot replan the actions quickly. Okay, so deliberative agent cannot replan the actions quickly. Why it cannot? Because if it has an because in case of reactive agent, you have only no knowledge domain. So based on that, the replan can be considered. But in case of deliberative agent, it is very difficult because you have to check all the internal states, then you have to check the effect of the actions that will be taken, and all those things will come into the picture. So deliberative action agents cannot replan the actions quickly. It has to get some time. It will take some time to go for the replanning. Unlike reactive agent, deliberative agent can reach its goal by reacting automatically based on the external environment. Yes, reactive agent में environment से वो data आता था और उस पे वो react करना उसके लिए difficult हो जाता था. लेकिन इसमें कैसा है कि डायरेक्टली आपको एक्सटर्नल एनवायरनमेंट से जो डेटा आ रहा है उससे deliberative agent can reach to the goal by reacting automatically based on the external environment. Right? This is also a difference. See, you have to write down the difference between the reactive and deliberative agent. After studying all these things, you have to make a difference of between reactive and deliberative agent. At least 4 to 5 points you should make. Okay. उसके बाद the main difference between reactive and deliberative agent is the latter maintains a symbolic representation of the world. Yes, this is also a very big difference. As far as reactive agent is concerned, it's a very normal representation is there of the information. But in case of deliberative agent, there is symbolic representation. So everything is in the form of symbols. And hence based on that, actions can be taken. It can process the images of an external environment which enables it to plan its actions. So it can process the images. That is the very good point that has been deliberative in deliberative. See, if you look at the human agents, the eyes are the most important thing, where you capture the image in your eye, and then according to the image that is captured by your eye, the information is used for the information can be used in a various ways. So similarly, a deliberative agent actually can process the images that it has captured from the environment like human does, and then it will enable it to plan its action. So similarly, if I am having some photo, if there is a deliberative agent in me, and if I'm getting the photos or images from the environment, now what to do with the environment is the action to be taken. So that can be decided, that could be decided. So deliberation decides what should be achieved, and mean and reasoning decides how to achieve. So obviously there are two things that will be coming into the picture here, is what should be achieved, kya achieve karna hai, and how should be achieved, how it is to be achieved. यानी पहले सबसे पहले गोल क्या अचीव करना है और उसके बाद उसको कैसे अचीव करना है, ये डेलिब्रेशन डिसाइड करता है. Both the deliberation and means and reasoning involve computer processing, so it is the best to ensure the computational resources are in efficient use as they can be committed to achieving the chosen situation. So obviously ये जो process होती है information collect करने की, फिर बाद में deliberation decide करने की कि कैसे करना है और फिर क्या करना है, ये सब चीज करने के लिए उसको कंप्यूटर प्रोसेसिंग लगेगा इन सब चीजों को. तो इसका मतलब आपके पास कंप्यूटेशनल रिसोर्सेस काफी स्ट्रांग लगेंगे ये सब एक्शन करने के लिए, या इस सिचुएशन पे रिएक्ट करने के लिए आपके कंप्यूटेशनल रिसोर्सेस हैज टू बी वेरी गुड इनफ. if your computational resources are good enough, then only it is possible that you can utilize your utilize your step, what should be achieved and how it should be achieved. So that mainly depends upon that. So you should have a very good computational power. The state of affairs chosen by deliberative agent intentionally is known as intentions. Intentions derive means and reasoning. So now there is one more thing that will come into the picture, is the state of affairs. The state means the internal state is going to be there. Now, based on that internal state, it actually helps you, it helps to take decisions, or it helps to predict the actions. Now, in humans, like it is said that if your intentions are good, the action will be accordingly. Based on my intentions, if my intentions are positive, the action will be taken accordingly. Similar way, in this case also, the internal state or the state of affairs, affairs chosen by the agents intentionally is known as intentions. So what kind of things are you going to choose, that depends upon what kind of intentions you have. And if you're having those intentions, that will drive the mean and reasoning. Right. Now, what is mean and reasoning? Mean and reasoning is nothing but automatic planning. That's what automatic planning you does. Right. So that means it mainly depends upon the intentions. If the intentions are good, according to the intentions, it will derive the mean and reasoning. Intention stimulates an attempt to execute the intentions, and hence they lead to an action. And that's why I said, as soon as my intentions are good enough, they will stimulate. And then if you stimulate, then the execution will take place. And as the execution will take place, they can lead to actions. They can lead to actions. That is what the thing is about. So intentions are very much important, and intentions mainly depends upon your state of affairs. So internal state of affairs, intentions. If intentions are there, then it will derive the mean and reasoning. Mean and reasoning is nothing but the automatic planning. If intentions will stimulate the attempt, then it will execute the intentions, and that will lead to an actions. So up till now, I do feel so you might have understood what deliberative agent is about. Okay. Now what will happen? If my intentions are good and I am reaching to an action, okay, my intentions are good, I know what is the goal to be achieved, accordingly my intentions are good, and I'm I'm stimulating the execution. As soon as I'm stimulating the executions, and if it fails, it will keep on trying because the intentions are good. है ना? It will keep on trying unless and it achieve. But if sometimes if it feels that it is not, it cannot be achieved, then only it can leave. Otherwise, it will keep on achieving. This is exactly same thing happens with the deliberative agent. See, you can see from this paragraph, if one plan of action fails, another course of action will be used to achieve the intentions. तो आप दूसरे तरीके से कोशिश करोगे ना, आपका इंटेंशन तो है अच्छा वहां तक पहुंचना है, फिर एक तरीके से अगर नहीं पहुंच पाए तो you'll go for the next one. An agent does not give up the intentions unless it believes that it cannot achieve it. बराबर, वो तब तक करता रहेगा जब तक उसको ये पता नहीं चलता है कि जब तक उसके अचीव नहीं होता तब तक वो गिव अप नहीं करता है. एंड इट विल लीव ओनली व्हेन देयर इज नो गुड रीजन फॉर अचीविंग इट. अभी कोई मतलब नहीं यार इसको यूज करके, इसको अचीव करके, देन ओनली इट कैन लीव. और सेकंड, देयर इज, it cannot be achieved. There are only two things it can do it. Otherwise, rest of the time it will try to achieve. Intentions can also influence beliefs. Obviously, intentions will create that belief. See, if your intentions are not good, you send such kind of signal to the other person, it can immediately break up your beliefs. So it depends upon how good your intentions are. If the intentions are good, it also creates that kind of beliefs. So it actually influences the beliefs. Same like in human agent, it happens in human agent, humans. Same thing happens here also. So they are having the same kind of thing. Based on the intentions, it will stimulate the execution of the intentions, and that will lead to the action. That's what the deliberative agent can do. मीन्स एंड रीजनिंग, हाँ मैंने आपको बोला था ना ऊपर, इंटेंशंस डिराइव मीन्स एंड रीजनिंग. नाउ वी शुड बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इट्स मीन्स एंड reasoning is. It is nothing but the automatic planning that includes a task to achieve. Automatic planning, ये task हो गया, ये goal है, इसको achieve करना है. The agent's beliefs and then the available actions will be taken accordingly. In the end, the deliberative agent can be explained as observing the world, updating beliefs, deciding on intentions, determining available options, filtering the best option, and then making and executing a plan is nothing but a deliberative agent. सबसे पहले वो ऑब्जर्व करेगा, है ना, तो डोमेन नॉलेज जिसको बोलते हैं हम, उसके पहले वो ऑब्जर्वेशन करेगा, फिर वो बिलीव्स को अपडेट करेगा, इंटेंशंस रखेगा, अवेलेबल ऑप्शन चेक करेगा, उसमें से बेस्ट ऑप्शन ढूंढेगा, and then it will make and execute the plan. That means it will try to achieve the goal that has been assigned to you, and that will be an automatic planning. There will be an automatic planning in order to achieve the task. So based on beliefs, intentions, and then available actions, it will work out. So this is what the deliberative agent is about. So we will stop here. I do feel so you might have understood reactive agent and deliberative agent.